DCS Crew, what is up? We're going to go ahead and check out a knife today that I haven't seen this particular designer for in a very long time. In fact, the last time I saw him, he had submitted a design to Kizer. And before that, he did have his custom designs, but the Kizer model that he actually issued through them was a production version of one of his customs. Now, I don't know if this particular one is one of his customs, but I do know there is some nice aesthetics to this one, but there's more than what meets the eye. Hopefully after this, we'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit. This is the Steller from Matt Degnan as designed by Kansept Knives. And I'm pretty sure you can see the designation right there. I like what Kansept did, you know, kind of shortening their logo design down to just the icon, the K, I guess, or the one that looks like an X. There's a lot to talk about with this particular knife. I will be honest, it's yeah, I'm kind of torn, and I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and provide some comments below. Do provide some comments if you like this design, but let's go ahead and get started with the review, and then you can go ahead and provide your feedback in the comment section. So stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome back and thanks for tuning in to my review of the Kansept Knives Steller from Matt Degnan. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side and show you the specs for this particular knife over here. There is a lot to love about this. You know, Kansept has spent they've cut no corners when it comes to the design of this knife as provided by Matt Degnan. You get high quality materials. You get some really nice titanium scales. You get this lovely clip over here that is actually integrated into the scale. And you do have screws that go into it from inside. Don't have a lot of hardware to have to go through. And while it is a flipper, it just barely sticks up out the side over here. And the action on this is just fantastic because of the fact that it does have bearings. Now, to be able to go ahead and provide some comparison, I'm going to take out a few knives and just show them randomly as I'm going through. I will name them. First and foremost, this is Civivi's first frame lock. This is the Civivi Nox. As you can see, they are pretty similar in size. Speaking of Civivi, we do have the prototype in my possession. This is a Justin Lundquist design. This is the Lumi Gray G10 14C28 and steel on this particular prototype, by the way. Nitro V on this one, which is the Civivi Nox. Another prototype I've had for a long time. This one is already in production, but this is a prototype blade from Carlos Elsner and Kizer. This is called the Clutch. That's end-cut. This is S35V in steel and end-cut carbon fiber on a titanium scale. Really cool stuff right there. Speaking of Kizer, we do have Dirk Pinkerton with the OG Kizer Rogue. This is the one that came with the deep carry clip that's been bent and reshaped and God knows what. S35VN steel on there. And what else do we have? Bestex Platypus D2 steel, and you can see that layered G10 on there. It's pretty cool, but I prefer it in some other colors, and honestly, I made that pretty evident in my video. Another Dirk Pinkerton design, you have the Kansept Main Street, even though it is listed as Little Main Street. That's part of the first wave of stuff that they had, and this was sent to me for review, so take that with a grain of salt. It is the Main Street. Last but not least, that's the the CJRB Mallory designed Centros in gray G10, like a blue gray G10 with D2 stonewashed steel. Now, on to the review on this knife. What I like about it, I really like the blade shape. If you look at sites like Blade HQ, they're going to go ahead and describe this as having a sheep's foot blade shape. And to me, it's more like a Warncliffe. To some, it's more like a blade, a sheep's foot. You know, to each their own. Personally, I do think it's a Warncliffe. That's just me. You do really get high quality steel with Kansept. They have S35VN steel, and this is just one of the variants. I'm pretty sure that they're coming about with another different variant if they haven't already. This particular knife is only tapped for right hand carry, so lefties, sorry about that. You are gonna have to go ahead and carry it like most of the population, and I'm sorry, but it is what it is. It is a frame lock. You do have that stonewash blade, so you can really put this to use and not have to worry about, you know, your blade looking ugly for those people that are prefer aesthetically pleasing blades, this blade shape is extremely good for utility. And I say that having used and abused and sharpened and really worked with the Kizer Guru. I'm trying to look for it right now, but I can't seem to find it. Oh, here we go. I'm a big fan of the Wharncliffe blades, and that's why I call it a Wharncliffe, because if you look at it, there's no belly on here. But I've been using this one, and oh my God, like this thing takes a licking and it keeps on ticking. I put a KME working edge on there, and if I were to do that, the same thing with this one, I have no doubt that with Kansept steel that is imported, S35VN from the United States, it's going to be really good, high quality stuff. And I'm pretty sure it's S35VN if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay. Well, if anything, I'll just go ahead and I'll just refer back to the specs. So sorry about that, guys. I got a lot of knives on the brain. So what perplexes me about this particular model is the size. You look at it in pictures and it actually looks very aesthetically pleasing. You see this area here. It feels like, the hand should fit really well, and it does. The only problem is, I guess my hand is too big for it, because when I go and I hold it, this kind of starts to dig into the swell of my palm, and it feels like a small hand with a larger blade. It just doesn't feel right. And this is something that kind of irks me about this. You have a beautiful knife like this, right? And then this cutaway forces you to be able to go ahead and take this finger and put it right here. So you're actually not able to use this much of the actual scale. And then that leaves you 1, 2, 3 fingers. I'm already towards the end, and then the fourth will kind of just wrap around here, kind of like when you have those really small pistols like the Glock 26 or even the Glock 43, where you can put a few fingers on there and then just kind of wrap the other one towards the bottom for grip. It just feels uncomfortable when you're going to be using it for long trips to the range. And for something like this, it's going to feel a little awkward and probably going to go ahead and mess with you, create a hot spot when you're going to go ahead and use this for extended periods of time. I mean, it is something that's basically constructed for a bit more of usage and for harder use tasks than your average liner lock, because of the fact that it does have a thicker frame lock construction on there. And they did a good job with that. The action is extremely good. It runs off of bearings. As far as the steel, they picked a great steel. It feels great in the hand. I mean, naturally when I put it in, when I put it in, that's what she said.
That's what she said.
That's my joke. Damn it, Dwight.
When I put the index finger right here and I go ahead and I have that natural grip that it gravitates to, right up here it does have some jimping, so it allows me to be able to go ahead and use this, extremely well in a bunch of different, manner and positions. But when I unbox this for the first time, I'm like, what the hell is this? Is this, like Zoomland just says, is this a knife for ants? My girlfriend actually saw it. She's like, oh man, it's a nice knife. And I asked her, because she has smaller hands than I do, And I'm like, hey, can you go ahead and try this? And it fit perfectly in her hand. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they kind of missed the boat on this one for the people that have medium hands and up. This is something catering at the end of the day to people who have small hands. And for people with medium hands, you really could have even just put like a lanyard hole here, and I could have done something kind of like what I have with the Kizer Jungus, where I have this, paracord on here with a nice little rune bead right here that was given to me from a knife trade. And, I could have something like that, and I could have something to, kind of hold on to kind of like make, at least feel somewhat like I have a full grip on it. But this does not have it. Now, even without that, I have no problems operating this. In fact, I don't think I've ever had a problem misfiring it. I mean, I thumb flick it, I flick it with my index finger. It's a very easy to operate kind of knife. But unfortunately, it just seems like it's just too small. They tried to fit as much as they could into the small form factor, and it is safe. I mean, you don't feel the blade here. This juts out just a little bit. They almost have that design kind of like the Vero engineering, knives, where it's like there's just that little shrouded flipper here. They just kind of angled it out just a little bit to give you just a little bit more purchase there for you to be able to go ahead and use. But the truth is, for something like this, for me, I don't see myself using this for any more than maybe like a casual Friday knife at the office, where I'm very rarely going to be using something like this as a knife. Even when I'm there and I'm going to, eat lunch, I'll use something like my Victorinox, knife. This is an Inox actually, by the way. But for something like this, I feel like for me, for people such as myself with hands, you know, like mine, which are medium, and then you know, medium large and large hands, they missed the boat on it. And I'm hoping that they come out with a larger version, because this one, it doesn't even feel like a medium-sized knife. It's just kind of like more on the smaller end. And it's not because of the size of the knife, because you do get a good amount of blade. And when you look at the specs, it does have you know, a decent size scale. But the problem is, damn near an inch of the scale is unusable because of this little area over here. There's no you know, finger choil for you to be able to choke up. You are forced to either use it right here, in which this just feels uncomfortable. It's not natural. And then you have to go with this, which at the end of the day, you're cramped down here and it just doesn't feel comfortable. So for me, like Randy says from American Idol, that's going to be a no for me, dog. And it sucks because this is a really nice knife. So, you know, if it floats your boat, by all means, this is really nice. You're going to be paying about $200 for this, if I'm not mistaken. As of the date of this video, that's what the average price is, a little over $200. But you are getting upper tier, you know, materials, you know, the titanium scales. You get upper tier steel, and Kansept has proven themselves with their quality of their knives and how they've worked, that at least for me, they worked really well, whether it's the D2, the 154 CM, or even, you know, some of the S35EN. I think they're also using M390. Don't quote me on that, but in any case, for me, it's just not my thing. And that's my 2 cents and 12 minutes talking about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and put some videos for you to go ahead and check out. Tell me what your thoughts are on this in the comments below. Be sure to go ahead and subscribe to my Instagram and follow my Instagram and subscribe to my YouTube channel. 98% of you guys that are watching this are lurkers, and you guys are missing out on all the benefits. Go ahead and subscribe so you guys can be among the first to be able to see these videos. Usually I upload sometime in the weekend, if not on Sundays, sometime maybe like a Friday or Saturday. I try to do it in a time when you're gonna have, you know, a moment to be able to watch this, a little bit more time than just when you're, you know, in the bathroom trying to have alone time, even though that's when I check out reviews too. So that being said, doesn't matter whether you're using this, a Swiss Army knife, something from CJRB, Kizer, you know, Civivu, or the like. Just remember, if you EDC, think of DCS. Here's some videos for you to check out, and I hope that you guys subscribe so I can see you guys next time. But until then, I'll see you all on the flip side. Take care. Peace.